And the award for Best Actor goes to Ollie!
Me?
Oh my goodness. Thank you. I just can't believe it. Do you ever feel like you're just spending your entire life putting on an act? Just playing different versions of yourself? Like, nothing you do is actually you doing it? I mean, the obvious example is basically any job you have. Hi there, I'm Ollie, and I'm so happy to be serving you today. But then it gets worse when you feel like you're not even really yourself around your friends. Yes, lads! We're the fucking boys, aren't we? Yeah! Fucking yeah! We're off to the pub later. You up for that, Ollie? Yeah, sure, yeah. And then you can't even be genuine in a relationship.
Oh, Ollie, I've had such a delightful day and wonderful weekend with you. It's just been such a lovely time with you, sweetie.
Oh, yeah, it's been great, yeah. Really great. And eventually you just wonder to yourself, who am I? Do I even have a real personality? Or am I just a blank screen that other people project what they want to see onto? I thought, maybe I was a bit of a social chameleon, had an adaptable personality, but maybe I'm just an actor. Welcome to Ollie's world. When the good people of Shoreditch see a dynamite red Audi R8 cutting about town, they know it can mean only one thing, that their Karaoke King is out and about, cruising down the boulevards and back streets in the ultimate vehicle for comfort and class. And on that particular night, yours truly was on the way to pick up one very lucky lady for a night on the town that she was not likely soon to forget. Belinda, the aging yet still beautiful little missy I picked up at the karaoke parlor the other week, was waiting for me at Victoria Station, a nice easy drive in my luxury automobile. Usually, that is, but due to a fault in the system interrupting my afternoon karaoke session, the parlor's machine had scored my rendition of It's a Sin far too low. It had to have been tampered with by one of those unruly children from a few weeks back, and I was now running late and driving in the thick of rush hour traffic. Not even the R8, the height of serenity and sophistication in automotive engineering, could keep me from flying into a perfectly justifiable blind rage for the 90-odd minutes it took me to finally crawl into Victoria. Belinda was none too happy to see me turn up an hour late, and I was hardly in the mood to hit her with my A-game romancing. A bad start, one that I tried to salvage by regaling her with the Audi's specs and features list. But despite how impressive they are, she was having none of it. I was gonna have to pull out all the stops that night to be singing I Think We're Alone Now with Belinda at the end of the night, if you catch my drift. I was gonna need some help from dinner and some red wine. I lucked out, as even though we'd missed our original reservation, ZZ's still had tables free. Perhaps not for ordinary members of the braying public, but when you're known citywide for being the Karaoke King of Shoreditch, it really opens some doors for you. ZZ's was lucky to have such upmarket clientele as myself, and no, I wasn't just there because Belinda had 2-for-1 vouchers. I actually happened to think that this particular establishment had the perfect ambiance and groove on its curated playlist for my date with this particular lovely lady. But also, I won't turn down a cheap pepperoni pizza if it's on offer. And it was an absolute belter of a pepperoni. Belinda and I finally had something to bond over, and I saw the glimmer in her eye. That sweet little smile returned to her face for the first time since I slipped my finger up her fanny back at the parlor. The good times were now well and truly rolling, as we gorged down our pizzas, and the path ahead became clear. Dessert menu, senior! To share a selection dessert is one of my absolute favorite ways into a woman's heart and knickers. An odd number of cakes, tarts, bites, and assorted nibbles guarantees a succulent, sugary showdown with your lady friend over the final piece, creating a cheeky atmosphere of amore, not unlike that bit in Lady and the Tramp. I tell you, the guys who make the menus at these chain restaurants know exactly what they're doing. And so do I. As I time the plate to perfection, me and Belinda reaching for that last mini brownie at exactly the same time, giggle off the awkwardness, creating the exactly correct conditions to lean in for a cheeky snog. Belinda melted then and there like the cheese on one of our pizzas, and when we decided to get out of there and head back to Shoreditch. But what about the babysitter? I asked, and she was like, there isn't one. The kids are at a sleepover. I'm all yours tonight. Well, I didn't need to hear any more than that, as I unleashed as much of the R8's 612 horsepower as London allowed me, and got back to the parlour in record time. And would you like to know what we got up to when we got in? Well, you should be so lucky. Lucky. But let's just say I really had been saving all my love for her. It's enough to make me just wanna sing. Ba 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 ba. I know that much is true. Ba 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 ba.
Hey, this is Wilson's Real Estate. You looking to buy a house or something? Yeah, if you're looking to move to London or something, then, we're here. Oh yeah, there's bills you gotta pay. Yeah, I guess we gotta do something about that. But yeah, we could try and help you, suppose. This is Watson's Real Estate, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm quite high right now.
Watson's Real Estate. We'll help you find your perfect property.
So I've just finished my first month for The Guardian, and I can honestly say it has been the most exciting, rewarding month of my life. I've learned so much in my time here so far, and all my co-workers have been so kind to me, and the only thing I can really complain about is, well, having to get used to travelling to work on the London Underground. Now, I don't know if you've ever had to travel from South Kensington to King's Cross on the tube in rush hour, but it is honestly a nightmare. I even have to change lines halfway through at Green Park. I mean, can you believe that? I do really miss being chauffeured around London, but I am not a daddy's girl, so I'm willing to make this sacrifice and endure the sweaty, smelly sardine tin that is the Piccadilly line, with all its smelly old beggars hanging around the station as I exit. Having had such a special time at The Guardian so far, I wanted to give something back, not only to the other staff members, but also the wider London community. So I thought, what is a big issue that I and so many other Londoners have experienced, and more importantly, an issue that could be tweeted and insta'd about as part of a Guardian-wide social media campaign? It hit me straight away. The plight of the homeless in our city has always affected me greatly. I myself have even volunteered my own free time to work in a homeless shelter, and I'll get out in front of any mean-spirited criticism by saying, yes, I did have to leave after 5 minutes in there. The smell was actually unbearable. But ask yourself this before you at me. Would you have been able to last that long in that absolute pong? Somehow I don't think so. So I took my campaign idea to my boss, Carla, and she absolutely loved it. She said, Savannah, I want you to lead this campaign. I want you to create a hashtag and start an online movement using all the relevant platforms you have available. And I was like, Carla, you can count on me, hun. Because I was making such good friends with all my co-workers that I'd even given them all little pet names like Hun and Babe and Queen, and well, Carla was just such a hun. So I spent the rest of the afternoon trying to come up with the Perth hashtag for our movement. And obviously to make sure it worked well on all our digital platforms, I was pairing each one with a selfie and uploading them to my Insta, just to see which one worked the best. I finally settled on hashtag homeless beware, spelled capital B, lowercase e, capital W, and then lowercase ARE, because be aware would have just been such a mouthful to say and an eyesore to look at. I needed to make my viral hashtag as snappy and as SEO optimized as possible. Plus the lowercase e there made it seem really modern, digital and on trend. So hashtag homeless beware was born. I loved it, Carla loved it, everyone thought I was such a socially conscious boss bitch for coming up with it. By then it was the end of the day though, so time to head back to Kensington, ready to officially launch #HomelessBeware the next day. As I was heading into King's Cross though, one of those awful old beggars accosted me. She asked for some spare change, couldn't even look me in the eye. She just had her head bent over and her hands clasped together like, hello? That is not professional body language. Besides, she was asking for cash, and it's like, hello, it's 2019. If you don't have a card reader, I'm not going to be able to give you any money. I'm sorry. I was willing to forgive her for accosting me when she just started up again, like, please, please, I beg you, anything. And I wasn't going to take any more of this snivelling girl's harassment, so I just went, I am a boss bitch and a badass queen. That is no way to speak to someone like me. That is not the one. Absolutely not the one. How dare you? How actually dare you? And she just looked at me like she was going to open her mouth and backchat me again, so I just shut her down with another, how dare you? And she just shriveled up, turtled into a pathetic ball on the ground. Quite understandably, when I came out of the station the next day, I was so anxious about running into this beastly girl again, but I was happy to see that she wasn't in her spot anymore. She must have taken something from what I had to say to her the night before, and started to work on bettering her life and herself. That encounter had gotten me so down, but the moment I entered the Guardian offices, I lit up, because everyone was waiting for me there, and they surprised me with a big party in my honour, because #HomelessBeware had become the #1 trend in the UK. I was so happy that I had officially started not only a movement, but a conversation about people struggling through life, such as myself, and how despite all adversity, we can rise above and do incredible, inspirational things. I don't like to congratulate myself too much, but I think on today of all days, I more than deserve it.
Okay. Sorry about that existential crisis to start off the show. It wasn't very professional of me. You deserve a better host than that, really. No, really. If I'm to be the host of this show, I'm gonna need to hold myself to better standards and embrace the role of MC. Really play the role. Because that's all I am. I'm not a real person. I'm just an actor. So, production on my music and culture mag is actually going really well right now. Yesterday I almost got around to preparing to call the publishing house to possibly discuss my mag getting printed by them. But I realised that before I could unleash my unique perspectives on this banal, brutal and beautiful society, I was gonna have to think of a name for my mag. Now, I love to think outside the restrictive boxes of this contemptible commercial world, so I'd considered making my mag nameless, a formless, artful tome that I could pervade into the streets overnight, change everything and be gone again the next day. Folks none the wiser. A socio-cultural bank heist. But I read online that the publishers really do insist on publications having a name, so this was one box I would have to think inside of for a change. What's in a name? A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. I read that in a Vice article once, and it sounded amazing. So these words resonated around my world as I considered what to call my mag. It was a truly monumental decision to make. I could feel my future self writing the paragraph in his autobiography explaining his decision process for coming up with the name of the mag that changed British street culture forever. That faint fading future haunted me in a deja vu that echoed through the ages. I thought such a phenomena to feel and experience would make a great article in my mag. My mag which I was trying to name, if only I could. I had to keep my mischievous, malcontent mind on the task at hand. Yeah, like I'll ever be able to keep this brooding, over-brimming brain of mine on a leash like that. Alas, my gift is my curse. My nefarious nights on the dance floor cream have expanded my mind beyond all functional fathom. I'm a real ideas guy. But because of that, it can be really difficult to put pen to paper or thumbs to notepad app. And now, all of these challenging conundrums I had presented myself had really tired me out, and I needed a break. 5 hours later, and I came back to thinking about a name for my mag again. It was a really difficult task to be faced with. Some people wouldn't have even attempted it. Yet here I was, on the front line of the trench warfare that is creative media, coming up with a single name to make cultural norms crumble at a whisper of it. And I was really close to getting it too, when my flatmate came home from work at the capitalist factory and stuck Greenwing on. Well, I was hardly going to turn that down, was I? 3 hours after that, the series ended and my flatmate slinked off to his room, leaving me with a creative vision to usher into existence. A name. A name. I needed something crisp, tasty, life-affirming. A name that could be acquitted immunity from the terminal deaf dysfunctionalism of a pop culture gone awry. Indeterminately indefinite hours sailed over my head as I lurched closer and closer to my ultimate truth. And as I started to slip into a subjugated state of sleep, my hand in a frenzied fissure of activity scrawled down my idea. The one name. I sank into slumber at that very moment, but my day's work had been achieved in a defiant, dying moment of truth. And when I came to the next morning, I saw the fruits of my labour written onto the page of my notebook, plain for the world to see now. There, written down, was my mag's name. Street. Simple. Beautiful. Timeless. Street. It's time to take this thing worldwide, or at the very least, to the publishing house. Okay, we're at the end of the show now, and yeah, I apologise for my massive identity crisis throughout. That's not me. Or is it? Maybe by denying my identity as someone who experiences massive breakdowns in self-consciousness, I'm throwing away the one single aspect of myself I could actually legitimately identify as an expression of self. The single aspect of me that could hold up to any social scrutiny and could stay consistent whether I'm on the job or with my mates or a significant other. Maybe that is me. That is Ollie. Or maybe I'm still acting. Maybe I'm just a really fucking good actor.